everyone. This is Jeremiah Batchican. I'm the conference director for the Bar and Restaurant Group. I am pleasure to be joined today by Kyle Noonan, the founder and CEO of Free Range Concepts. Kyle, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me. It's too bad it's not in Vegas, but hopefully we'll get back soon. But it's still good to see even virtually.
Absolutely. And I think you're glowing because the last few months, even despite this pandemic, you've actually enjoyed some awesome milestones. You hit your big 40 celebration. I'm sorry we didn't get to party with you in Vegas like we had planned.
Right.
And then you also got engaged, so that's an awesome. So congrats to you.
On the same day too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about business a little bit. Texas is reopened, obviously on limited capacity, but what has the reopening steps looked like for you all? And maybe give a little background on the three concepts you have, because I know that those also have opened at different timelines.
Sure. So I own 11 units throughout the state of Texas. The four brands are the Rustic, which is a restaurant bar with a 3,000 person outdoor concert venue. Another brand is Mutt's Canine Cantina, which is a restaurant and bar with a private membership-based dog park, where you can let your dogs run around. We take care of them while you sip on a cocktail under an oak tree. We have a couple of those. Then we have 3 Bowling Barrels, which is high-end boutique bowling with restaurant and bar. And then our fourth concept is the General Public, and that's our truest restaurant, American Gastropub. So 11 units throughout Texas. I believe it was May 1, Texas opened at 25% of your capacity, just restaurants, not bars. And then at May 15th, Texas went to 50% on restaurants and 25% capacity on bars. But what was interesting is that bar tops were not allowed to be open, which I understand because that's where the congregation would probably happen. I mean, if you had 100 people in a bar, probably 100 people would be, huddled around the bar top. So safe social distancing was probably the most important thing. What a lot of restaurants and bars saw, the smaller ones, the smaller scale restaurants and bars had trouble, and there was really no difference between 25 and 50%, because if you have to have 6 feet in between each table and practicing social distancing, most places that is kind of about 25% of your floor plan. Mm-hmm. So the jump from 25 to 50 really didn't impact a lot of restaurants. I'm, on the other hand, a little bit different because our venues are large, 40, 50,000 square feet. So even at a 25% capacity, if we're 3,000 normal capacity, that means we can get, several hundred people into our buildings. And then when we went up to 50%, I was able to add double the tables because I still had the square footage to do it. And we're in a really unique position because we do have 50% capacity. We are spreading tables apart at 6 feet apart, but we can still get 500-600 people into the outdoor patio space and restaurant dining room spaces. So there's still energy there, which is nice.
And this past Memorial Day, as we kind of saw some places respecting social distancing. If you were down the Ozarks, it was ironic. They had a big sign, 6 feet social distancing, and there would be like 20 people within 6 feet. So I think like the media and how they're kind of playing to this, 500 people sounds like a lot, but I've seen, how spread people are spread out, they are safe. So how are you handling that? Has there been any kind of reports on too many people, or has it been mostly positive?
Sure. Well, there's two elements to this, right? There's the consumer element and then the media element. The consumer element has been generally positive. There are a few people out there that say, you shouldn't be open. We should shut down for the next year or 2 years, whatever. There are the Twitter bots out there that kind of beat up on you, and you have grown, you kind of become numb to it a little bit. You just it doesn't bother you. But generally the consumers are just excited that we're back open. And if there is some sort of social distancing practices that aren't being adhered to by the consumers, which is rare, but occasionally it happens, it's a very receptive conversation where we just go over and, hey, remember, spread apart. We got to keep you guys separated. And they, oh yeah, I got it, no problem. So we've had no issues there from a consumer side.
Yeah.
The consumer side is very excited that we're open. They're very, very respectful to the policies and procedures and respectful of each other, which is great. The flip side is the media. The media has been the challenge because the media likes the dirt. They like the, they want blood on the streets because that's what I think. What's if it bleeds, it reads.
Yeah.
That whole thought behind the media stirring up an issue where maybe there isn't even an issue was something that we've seen firsthand. It's something that we were very cautious of, which is why when we first opened, we knew we were a big spot and we probably had a target on our back. So we went above and beyond. We were actually open to, when we first opened the weekend that we were allowed to open at 25%, we were actually kept at around 10% capacity. Yeah. Because I didn't want somebody coming in and taking a picture of 20, 30 people crowded around an area just on accident and then making us look bad. And believe me, they tried, but they couldn't find it. So now I think that the target's a little bit off of our back. It's been 3-4 weeks now. Or I guess it's been 3 weeks since we've been open. I think we're old news now, so that's good. But for the first 2 weeks, I mean, the media was looking for stories to try and make restaurant and bar owners look bad.
Yeah, and there's Cinco de Mayo, so big weekend, and that normally people congregate and love to get out and have some margaritas. So you guys have always been pretty media savvy, so that was a very intelligent decision on your part. So the other part of it too is I saw you guys were focusing on technology and investing in that. So you were doing like QR codes and digital menus. What other steps have you guys taken to make sure people can, avoid touching things or using the same type of menus and everything else?
Sure. Well, I think the first step was when everything shut down and then we were allowed to do takeout and curbside pickup and things like that. We had to shift to a platform where you could order online, which we didn't have. That was our first tech initiative because historically we've never focused on to go. We want people in the restaurants, in the bars, creating an energy, drinking in there, having, being able to do those things. So our to-go business was effectively zero before COVID-19 hit. So we had to do an immediate scramble to try and go and get a system that we could know that somebody could order, a burger on their phone and come pick it up. That was the first kind of pivot. The second one was once you get into the restaurants, how do we go as digital as possible? And one of the things we had been focusing on, we weren't ready to pull the trigger just quite yet before COVID hit, was going fully digital with the menu. Or there's a QR code at the table, you snap a picture with your phone and the menu pops up on your phone. We were already kind of contemplating that because I mean, there's just a lot of money that goes into menu printing. And we felt like if we could digitize that and have it not only save us money, but have the updates be a lot more quick. Or even get to a point where if you're out of something, if you're 86 something, you just pull it off the menu. And it's a quick thing. So we had already talked about it, but we didn't feel like the consumer was ready, but we used this as a great opportunity to implement that program. And it's been very well received. And I can tell you, we're not going back to paper menus. We're going to be 100% digital now.
Oh, that's awesome. Very smart. So tell me about too, like other predictions for the rest of the year, like big changes you think. COVID-19 really was a catalyst for a lot of trends that were already happening. So what other trends you think kind of leapfrogged and will be here for the rest of the year and longer?
Well, I think the number one thing that you consumer surveys before COVID-19 hit that people looked for in a restaurant and bar was number one, experience, number two, quality of product.
Yeah.
Some surveys had those flipped, but it was 1A, 1B. Now, without a doubt, it's cleanliness. of the building and space. So I think that's going to be the number one driving thing for the foreseeable future. I think eventually that will kind of drop down to maybe 3 on the list, and atmosphere and food and drinks will go back up. Service will go back up to the top. But right now it's cleanliness, cleanliness, cleanliness. It's how not only operating a clean business, but also you know, kind of showcasing it, really highlighting the things that you're doing, being dramatic about having. We have cleanliness captains that walk around. All they do all day long is just wipe doorknobs, and you know, and we try to be very obvious about it because we want people to feel safe. You know, the other thing is the social distancing. Hopefully, we will see the numbers trend in our favor over the next, you know, 6 months or so, from a number of cases, so that people will feel more and more safe coming out. One of the awkward things is the mask issue. We have decided we're all of our staff is required to wear masks right now. We also take temperatures of everybody walking in the door. Well, every team member, not our guests. Some restaurants we're seeing masks are optional now from team members. Some are saying you're not even allowed to wear a mask. And so you're kind of seeing, you know, you're seeing different approaches. I think for the time being, it's probably best to just show that you're being ultra precautious by having everybody wear a mask. But I do understand the flip side, where it feels kind of weird, and it looks like it reminds me of when you fly to an international airport and you land at the airport and you see military guys with machine guns. It's kind of unnerving and unsettling. And you're like, am I safe here? What's going, you know, it's that same type of feeling when you see everybody wearing masks in a restaurant. But I think that that's okay for now. There will be a time though that masks become a thing of the past, and hopefully sooner rather than later, because it's nice to walk into a restaurant and forget everything that's going on. It's nice to walk up to a bar and forget everything that's going on. You know, and having a mask in your face just kind of is that reminder.
Exactly. I mean, bars and restaurants are a form of escapism. So to walk into what feels like an ER instead of an operation, you know, a restaurant, or you know, that energy and that ambience is kind of dismissed. So you guys have been super engaging on social media. You've done a lot of awesome stuff. You guys had the chain smokers on for a tequila promotion. They had the Cinco de Mayo. You have the cooking with Kyle. Just, you know, and you're giving out content for free, really high quality, great recipes. I've had that chicken sandwich at Mutt's, and so now I can cook it at home is awesome. So,
Yeah.
I mean, this kind of breeds people seeing you guys doing cool shit. And I think people want to be a part of that, right? So do you think this kind of leads you guys to hiring more members? Because you guys also launched like a job fair recently, which is kind of surprising. And a lot of places are begging for staff to come back, or they're not bringing staff back because the business isn't there. You guys are going the opposite direction. Can you give a little more details about that?
Sure. Well, the first part of the question, from a digital standpoint, you know, everybody was at home. A lot of the country still is at home, and they're on their phones. And so we felt like this is a good opportunity to start really engaging through social media with our consumer base and our communities. And the strategy was just be entertaining and provide value instead of selling. Instead of just come in and buy this, or come in and we're offering this, or this is a discount, or whatever it might be. Yeah. Let's try and provide value to the audience so that they get something for engaging with the brand. So yeah, we've done cool things like interviews with chain smokers and Pat Green, different music artists. We do a lot of cooking segments where you can either get the kits at the site at the restaurant beforehand, or you get the ingredient list and go to the store and pick it up yourself so you can cook it with me. Making cocktails, things like that, wine education, beer education. So just anything to provide value and not necessarily sell was our strategy, so that we could just keep the connection with the consumer base. Because we felt like eventually when things do open up, if we already have that empathetic connection
Yeah.
with consumer base, they're likely to come back to us first. So that was the strategy. And then from an employment standpoint, we look at it as an opportunity to build out a team. A lot of companies got PPP money. A lot of businesses did, and we feel like that's a good opportunity to really build an even bigger and stronger team than we had before, which we already had a great team. So we're looking for the best of the best because we are, frankly, I don't know the numbers. I can't say this with ultimate certainty, but I'm pretty sure that we're probably the biggest and busiest places in this entire state of Texas. So because of that, because there's energy, because there's people, and we're able to make some money, we are a desirable place to work, which has been great for us.
Yeah, that is excellent. So I guess the last question too, and you kind of mentioned it, the takeaway kits, the cocktail kits at home. Governor of Texas kind of said that that might stay indefinitely. Now, obviously, we have to see what kind of laws are enacted. What other things are you hoping comes out of this in terms of government support, whether that's at the federal level, state, or local level? What are you hoping stays that has been loosened, or what are you hoping like might get added to help out the bars and restaurants?
Sure. Well, I think the first thing is this is the first time in history that the restaurant and bar industry has the consumer and our political leaders all feel sorry for us because they kind of know that we got the short end of the stick on this deal. So we're looking at it as an opportunity to continue to build a relationship with the community, but also with our political leaders and our regulation boards that are at the city, state, and federal level. Obviously, there's a lot of issues with the PPP money that need to be sorted out, namely having to use it in 8 weeks. That's kind of we're not going to recover in 8 weeks.
Yeah.
We're just not. And so we need that money for a lot longer than 8 weeks to get to weather the storm. And then I think the ratio that you have to, use 75% of it on payroll and 25% on other deemed, expenses
Yeah.
that they deem worthy. That ratio doesn't always work for certain businesses. Some businesses need it more for rent. Some businesses need it more for payroll. So I think just loosening up that ratio is important. But then also, there is going to be a flip side where the health board is going to be even more focused on what restaurants and bars are doing, as they should be. But the good thing is the industry, the bar industry, the restaurant industry, the club industry, we're used to running clean businesses with in conjunction with the local, state, and federal health agencies. So it's, we're pretty good at it already. There's going to be some other measures put in place, but I think it will ultimately level the execution and cleanliness across the board up quite a bit, which I think is ultimately a good thing.
Absolutely. Kyle, thanks so much for your insight. What's a good place people can follow you on social media or hear more about what you guys are doing?
Sure. Follow me at Kyle Noonan.
Absolutely. It's a great follow. I'll endorse that. So thanks again for your time.
Awesome. Thank you. Appreciate it.